we work a lot in Illustrator and Adobe products, but like, have you ever thought about maybe moving into like ceramics or cross
Oh
stitching
my gosh.
or needlework?
All the time. I saw that Sarah Sun, one of your other
Hmm.
guests,
Oh yeah.
we just had on she was posting on her Instagram stories that she's moving and she got her own like pottery set, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I
Hmm.
really want to try pottery this year. Um there's also this brand, I think it's called Sculpt, that you can make at home pottery, or
Hmm.
it's like an at home clay kit that you it's air dried clay and you can like paint it and stuff. And that's definitely a craft that I want to get into in the new
So
year.
cool.
I would also love to try crocheting,
Hmm.
but sometimes like crafts related to like working with your hands. I did this all the time in architecture school when I had to make models. I
Yeah.
would get so frustrated, like literally anger management issues. And like whenever I
Yeah.
would be done, I would like smash it on the ground
Oh
because
no,
I
I
was
didn't think it was
so
that.
annoyed.
Whoa. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because I feel like as creatives, there is this. People are gonna read me like an open book because I preach about this all the time. There's this general, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like mindset where if we create something, it has to be perfect the first time. If it's not perfect,
Yeah.
if we're not amazing at it, then that means it's bad, which is like not the case. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand that sentiment. I think you would make some really cool ceramics though, especially like some like mugs
Yeah.
or something. It'd be so
Yeah. Oh my
fun.
God, I would love a mug. And
Mm-hmm.
like I would be going to like Anthropology and I would see it. And they're like
Mm-hmm.
$70. Like $70 for a
Mm-hmm.
mug. That's insane. I get it that they're handmade,
Yeah,
and I
I
get that
yeah.
they support small businesses. I
Yeah.
get it, but
But
anthropology is a small business, and I'd much rather do it for
oh
small.
yeah, 100%. I totally understand. It's so funny cuz like one of the things I've wanted to try for a long time is like blind boxes or 3D models. Like, and I've worked with 3D before, like I've learned Blender. It's very difficult, but
Mhm.
with some other options like Project Neo and things like that, it makes it a little more accessible and fun. And there's some like apps now where you can just submit 3D models to a company and they'll just print them out for you for like under $20, under $30. It's crazy. This is not like a plug or anything. It's just I find it very interesting and kind of crazy that like that just exists now.
Yeah,
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 it's
you
really
can
cool.
definitely get like I did that all the time in architecture school actually when I needed to get 3D models printed. I would go on Etsy. Or no, wait, there was this guy in my year. There was
Yeah.
this guy in my year who had a 3D printer and
Oh,
everybody went to him for 3D models and he was the plug.
I'm so jealous. I bet he made bank.
He made bank.
Yeah,
He made
that's so
bank
sick.
from all of our
Crazy
desperation.
projects. That's so
Yeah.
cool. That's so cool. I had a train of thought and I completely lost it. So how funny is that? But yeah, creating, making stuff, having fun.
Yeah. Wait, for a sun cartoon? Oh wait, the orange is on the outside and the yellow is on the inside.
It's up to your preference. Whatever
It
feels
looks
right.
weird to me. I
Okay.
think it looks weird. I'm gonna try and change it.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit. See how you're feeling. How are you feeling about the design so far? Are you feeling good with the progress you
I
made?
feel good. Not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that looks way better. I think I'm just gonna keep tweaking it as I go.
Do
While you were talking,
you? Oh
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
tweak.
I was gonna say, do you feel like the color takes the longest for you when you're designing?
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a plan of
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to use.
Mm-hmm.
I just think like I focused too much on orange, so I'm trying to incorporate that. I'm trying to incorporate less on like other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like there needs to be more blue throughout everything. So I'm just trying to
Sure.
find maybe like other ways to
The reason I
incorporate.
ask is because not just because of my lack of understanding of color, but legitimately, it tends to be one of the things that takes me the longest. I never go in with a palette. I never go in with a plan. I just am like, I'm gonna go for it, see what happens. We'll have a good time. So It's interesting how things line up like that. Which actually, this isn't really a transition. This is more just an interjection for another question involving your life. Another chance at a point. Do you think you're ready for another one? These are hard questions also for the chat. So I apologize in advance. They're difficult questions.
Go for it.
Okay. So I have two options that we can choose from. One is involving your LinkedIn and the other is involving your Etsy. Which one do you prefer?
Ooh, let's go with LinkedIn.
Okay. This is the hardest question, so I'm glad that you chose it now. So,
Okay.
your LinkedIn profile, of course, has some of your information, where you grew up, some of your accolades, but in your bio, you have a phrase. And I would like you to finish this sentence. This is a quote on your LinkedIn. Graphic design and illustration services that blank, 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 blank.
Is this in one of my job sections?
It's in your description under your name.
Oh, like my LinkedIn like company page?
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, I never used that one. Um,
Or I think it might be your personal, if I'm not mistaken.
no, no, it's definitely my company one
Oh,
because
okay, okay.
um
That's bad research on me.
no, because I only made that company page because when you go on my like personal profile,
Ah,
you like wanted to like see my logo.
mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I made it. But I should be more active on that more. Anyway,
I mean,
um,
so I'll repeat it again. The description says, Fiorella Doodles, designer, graphic design and illustration services that blank, 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 blank. 4 words.
uh, that that 4 words. Okay.
Yeah.
Graphic design service. This is that. Bring your visions to life. No.
Not quite. I'll give you one more chance. You're very close, and I'll give you a little alley oop. It does start with a B. I'll give you one. I'll give you one word that I think will help you a little bit. Okay. So one of the blanks, the first word is benefit.
I don't even
that
remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
that is
So
totally fine. No worries. The answer was benefit the greater good.
right.
It's hard. It's hard when you're put on the spot and you're drawing and you're in front of an audience. So no pressure on that front. No worries. I made these questions a little bit more delve deep. I wanted to do my research.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
No. I mean, I think you're an interesting person. You've got a lot of substance to your design and your process. So, but that's totally fine. I will ask this though, because this is something that we didn't get into. And this might
Ask away.
help us out a little bit. How exactly did you design this poster? Did you happen to use like I don't know, maybe like a pen tool or a pencil tool in some
Definitely
capacity?
pen tool.
All
Um,
right, boom. That is a secret objective and a point. One of your secret objectives was, of course, if you used a pen or pencil tool, and we did in this case. So you got a point. That's
let's
one on the board.
go.
Yeah. Hey, easy peasy. Listen, we've got this. I'm gonna get a little tally so I remember how many points we're doing, so I don't have to guess. There we go.
Oh,
So I'm kind of also curious about future plans, right? We've talked a lot about the past. We've talked a lot about the present, what you've got going on now or the design, but like, do you have any goals for this year? Do you have any things that you're manifesting for yourself?
ooh, I have so many. Oh, I wish I could I have my list actually with me. I get it. I'll get it. Um, And then I'll get into what I'm doing with the sparkles
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's a finishing touch that I always do on my work.
Love it.
What am I at for time?
So right now you're at 26 minutes. So you're crushing it.
Light work, light
You
work.
you
Okay.
you are just under halfway.
Okay, amazing. Um, so I want to reach 100,000 followers on social media
Woo!
this year.
Nice.
Um, I think it's a very doable goal.
Mhm.
I just think it's hard to get caught up though in social media, and
Mhm.
I find myself spending an absurd amount of time on social media.
Mhm.
So I also just want to be like careful with that and not get like too obsessed
Mhm.
with it, I guess. So I just want to be consistent and make sure to be making captivating content that people can also resonate to, that gives people something to learn about and something to resonate with. So yeah, that's definitely a big goal of mine.
I mean, that's
Um,
a doable goal. If anybody could do
yeah,
it, I think you can do
thanks, Jacob.
it.
Appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm trying to be on my content grind this year, so
It's a tough
definitely something that I
grind.
want to get up. Yeah, it is. It is. I also want to start posting on YouTube. I'm gonna start with YouTube
Mm,
Shorts first and see how that goes. I don't have like the video editing skills now to do like more long form content, but we'll see.
can always hire
Um,
an editor.
I can always hire an editor. Um, I also wanted to grow on TikTok, but is TikTok gonna get banned in
That's
Canada?
a good question. I don't know the answer because
You
I was
know?
going fully in on Instagram with the intention that TikTok was getting banned in the US, which is
Uh,
where I'm from. And I was
right.
under the impression that I didn't got to worry about it. But apparently that's like not potentially not the case anymore, which I find
I
interesting.
think, I mean, honestly, I think it would be a very bad thing for the economy because so many small
Mm-hmm.
businesses and businesses in general thrive on TikTok. So, I mean, I don't know. I think banning it is gonna not gonna help anyone. But anyway,
Listen, that's
it
how
would
I
definitely
got
help my screen time for
that's
sure.
how I got my start was through TikTok. So I've been kind of
Yeah,
wrestling with the
exactly.
idea of it disappearing and trying not to like be upset about that. Accept it is probably the good term of
Mm.
use. But I want to kind of roll back to this. Well, actually, first before we delve too far, let's talk about your art progression right now. What you're doing, why you're adding these sparkles, because you were saying you wanted to kind of highlight that.
Yeah, so adding sparkles is like a very big thing that I do in my work. It's just a finishing touch that I
Mm-hmm.
always like to do. I just think it brings my piece to life. It's something that's unique to me and it's also part of my rules that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I do my work, I give myself a certain amount of rules so I can stick to, so I can keep graphic consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do bridge out, then I can still follow these rules to like make it all look the same, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, or like a lot of them that you'll see here, is the cartoon character style that I always do. A, the bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
B, C, the sparkles that I always do. And usually at the end, I'll always add a texture or a grain, to give it that retro style that I always go
I love
for.
it.
And I have more, and I can share more on my page as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's also something helpful for somebody who's trying to find their style right now or is trying to develop theirs. It's a really hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of trial and error, but what helped me is just f following five people that I admire the
Yeah.
most and just like taking things that they do really well and just trying to do it in my own way has really helped me. And oh, and always signing my name too in a funky way is always a
Yeah.
big one for me
I
as
love
well.
it. You say this, and it's so interesting because I read a book at the beginning of this year. I have it right here, so I'm gonna hold it up for the class. This is not sponsored. This is just a book that I like. It's called Steal Like an Artist. This book is
Oh,
incredible if you're trying to figure out a way to develop your style, because it talks about the process of taking influence from creators and the process of looking at art as something that is a collage of a million different love languages and love pieces and things that we enjoy about other people, and how that you can navigate that world in a way where you pay homage and respect an artist in a way, saying, I love this artist so much and I respect what they're doing so much that I want to create something that is my own, that really encapsulates the vision that they've put onto paper. And I think it's a hard road to navigate, especially in illustration, right?
100%. Because at the end of the day, nothing comes from nothing. It's all
Mm-hmm.
inspired from somewhere else. Even when like I'd be walking around Toronto and just looking around the buildings, all of them look the exact same.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in any
Architecture.
major city, like even architecture is like the biggest example of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Seattle Space Needle, CN Tower. Like there's commonalities
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. You know,
And when
it's sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 I wasn't gonna say anything. Go for it.
I was gonna say it's so cool, and I one of my favorite things when it comes to artists that do this, like have these rules or break these rules, are the people that use the broken rules of design in order to develop a style. My favorite example is someone that we're mutual friends with. Actually, it's Spencer. I don't even know if he would consider his art broken rules, but when I think of anatomical, right? Like I think of anatomical art and things being proportionate and you know bodies making sense. Like his art is not that, and I think that is 100% to his advantage. It makes his art so much more interesting, so much more
Yeah,
dynamic, so much more colorful. And like
yeah.
that's probably something that I'm sure he knows how to draw anatomical art. He went to school, if I'm not mistaken. But like this is his thing. And I think of Spencer when I think of that style. So
Yeah, and there was actually like a piece that I did trying to get Lululemon's attention.
nice.
It's really actually like inspired by Spencer's composition. Like
Nice.
he does like a lot of kind of like horizontal style illustrations or like
Mm-hmm.
some stuff that's like very wide, and I
Mm-hmm.
tried to like emulate that. And yeah, I try to just push myself in that design as
It's
much as
hard.
possible. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard when you have one style and you're good at it. And like, it's also like people follow you because you fit into that certain box
Right.
and you're to like kind of branch out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was definitely a challenging one for sure, but definitely
Nice.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that I really want to do with my social media pages. I really want to break down this construct of like I'm the graphic designer guy, I'm the video like tutorial guy. Like I want to do videos like I want to do posts like you. Like I want to reach out to companies in like a cold call by designing something. I want to do
Oh my
videos
God,
like
do it.
Sarah where she's doing things like making packaging design for things that don't exist. Like I that's my dream. Like I want to do that, and I feel like this year is like the year to just say like screw it, let's go for it.
Yeah, because in a way, the reason why I do those things, it's because it's my way of outreaching, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna make a video on this soon, is how I pitch myself to brands.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it in a very personalized way, like a social media post, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and then they see that other people are engaging in it, it's so much more advantageous of them it's so much more advantageous for them to look at you and actually take interest in your work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though I don't get 100% of these clients every time, it
Mm-hmm.
has brought so much traction and so much engagement to my page that it it's just like a win-win. So like in a way, it's a personal project, but it's also helping me outreach. So I'm killing two birds with one stone at the same time.
100%. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's such an interesting world to navigate social media and putting yourself out there and designing and I guess having your own thing. Like I admire the friends that we're surrounded by and the creativity that we're surrounded by. Like especially like you and Noy and Adam and like Cody, and I could go on and on and on and on with names, and people are going to be like, who are you talking about in the chat? But if you don't know, look them up. They're amazing people. I'm sure you find them if you just type in their name. Cody Banks, Adam the Illustrator, Sarah, and Miscellaneous. I'm really liking how this is going. I'm assuming since we added our little tag down at the bottom that we're feeling pretty good about everything. Everything feels pretty locked in for you.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Nice.
Just looking at some things here. I'm not sure if I love the color of this trophy, but I think it just might be me just fixating on something.
I
But
think it's really cute, personally.
thank you.
I think it's sweet. And
Thank you.
elephant in the room here, looking over on the side, I'm seeing some mock-ups. So that makes me feel like we might be doing some mock-ups, which is kind of
Oh, you
fun.
guess right. We are
Nice.
doing mock-ups.
Nice. I'm so excited. I think this is going to be sweet.
I think this is one of my favorite Illustrator tools. So sorry, before I did all that, I just
Yeah.
expanded all of my live paint groups because A, it's gonna slow down your file, and B, it's
Mm-hmm.
just so much easier to work with, and
Mm-hmm.
it keeps all your line weights the way that they are.
Consistent.
Exactly. Um, so I think that I'm going to put this on a cute little hat.
I love it.
Um,
I'd buy it
thank
instantly.
you. I'll make you one. I
Oh,
want
let's
it. Oh my
go.
gosh. I would love to get like an embroidery manufacturer,
Mm-hmm.
but getting embroidered stuff is so expensive.
It
Oh my
is.
gosh.
I just
And like
worked with a
finding like a good
client
one. Oh
that had to
yeah?
do that, and I won't. You know what? I'll say it. I I sent out an invoice to this client. We did 30 beanies, and it was $400. It was so
That's
expensive.
crazy.
Yeah, it was way too much. It's fine. People got to make their bag. I get it, but it was like, man, I'm glad I'm not paying this. So,
Yeah, and also like when you are getting quoted, let's say $30 to make something,
hmm
and it's a tote bag, for example.
hmm
In order for you to make money, you have to sell it for 60 or even
hmm
75.
hmm
So how can you justify selling a $75 tote bag?
yeah, it's a
You know?
hard market to navigate. That's why I loved printing for so long, right? Like,
Yeah.
man, I would print shirts for like $2, like literally $2, and then I'd sell them for 20. And they'd be like, okay, cool. I made like a, you know, math 90% profit or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was a very good time. You mentioned tote bags, and we're approaching about the 14-minute mark. So I figure I might as well ask you your final Fiorella related question. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. This one is referring to your Etsy page. I'm giving you a little bit of alley oop on this one because I admit to the chat I made these questions a little too hard, and that is my apologies. They're very specific, but
What did
talking
you
of
put in your LinkedIn bio 2 years
no no
ago?
no no. So no. This one is hopefully will be a little easier because of course we brought up tote bags. Uh,
Yay.
on your print store, on your Etsy, you not only have posters, but you also have tote bags and greeting cards. But
Mhm.
what is the item that has sold the most in your store?
Um, it's the Mac Miller poster, I think.
You got it. You nailed it. Mac Miller poster. And what was actually really not fair about this is there's actually a tie. So I guess it's more fair. There was two options or two answers I was looking for. It was either the
Is
Mac
it
Miller
no, is
poster,
it the Louise Barragan print too?
the floral tote bag, the mosaic floral tote
Oh,
bag. They tied for I believe it's 10 a piece or like 9 a piece, which is
hmm.
pretty dang impressive. If you ask me, you're on the board. Let's go ahead and give us a little ding sound. Got another point. So perfect. Wonderful. I'm really liking how this is all kind of coming together with our
Yeah.
time here. It's really cute. I'm really, really
Thank
digging it.
you. Thank you. And like, um, I'm gonna go through the mock-ups in a second,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've been really loving when like a graphic t-shirt has like a small little print in
Hmm.
where the heart is, and then it just goes to like a bigger print at the
Love it.
back. I've been loving that style recently. So
So
if there's
cute.
anybody who wants to make t-shirts with me, hit my line.
Speaking of people that have made t-shirts with you, I think you did something really cool that I would love to hear about your experience, your process with. You worked with a little company pretty recently on a store launch, if I'm not mistaken. That was so cool. And for those in the chat that don't know what we're talking about, you worked with, if I'm not mistaken, was it Uniqlo or was it H&M?
It was Uniqlo, yeah.
Yeah. What did that experience look like? That was so cool. Like how did that
Thank
happen?
you. Honestly, when it happened, I because this went it went live, I think it mid-October.
Hmm.
Mid-October when we were like at Adobe Max and I was like, oh wow, yeah, like that's cool. Because it was for their opening of their Brampton store
Right.
and Brampton is like a suburb in Southern Ontario. So
Hmm.
I didn't think like many people would get to see it until they moved some of the inventory to the Eaton Center. And the Eaton Center is
Ooh.
like the biggest mall in all of Toronto. Like
That's
millions,
scary.
not millions, but like thousands and thousands of people
Sure.
go through it every day. I literally like have to mentally prepare to go to war every single time I go in there because
Hmm.
I have to be like mentally prepared, being like I'm going to one store and then I'm leaving because
Yeah.
honestly a very busy mall.
It's like
Anyway,
warfare.
honestly, it's like preparing for war. So when people started sending me like pictures of it, I was like, wait, like this is kind of cool. And then I went to see it in person myself, and it was a very surreal moment. And it was an opportunity that I got actually from posting my work on social media. So
Hmm.
sometimes when I have some extra time on my hands, I go and DM these brands. I'm like, hey, Uniqlo. This was probably in like June. Hey, Uniqlo, I would love to work together. I love this collab that you did with my friend Jade the other day.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think we would work well together. And they're like, yeah, send me an email. So I sent the marketing manager an email every single week since July until she finally responded saying like, hey, we have an opportunity. And I was like, sick. So then
So cool.
they used one of my designs. Yeah, it was
Little
fun.
peek behind the curtain. That's really interesting. I feel like that's a really accessible way to approach that. It makes it feel much more approachable and like not in a like demeaning way. I hope it doesn't come across that way, but like sharing that experience is like wow, like that's crazy. Like it's it feels like it all came together and you deserved it, of course. But like what
Thank
how
you.
did it feel like walking into the store and like seeing it in person? Was it weird?
It was really special. The first time I went with one of my best friends who was in
Mm-hmm.
town and like just like seeing her reaction made my day. It also just
Oh.
happened to be it happened just happened to fall on my birthday weekend too. So it was
Oh,
like this is a
okay.
sick start to my birthday weekend actually.
Beautiful.
And then I went with my parents the next day, and that was also really fun to see.
So
And then my
cool.
boyfriend actually purchased a shirt and like
Oh,
wore it out to like my birthday celebration. So that
that's
was also really
cute.
fun. Yeah, it was really sweet.
That's so
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, just I really liked working with Uniqlo because they collaborate with a lot of local artists. So when they opened their Calgary store, they collaborated with a local Calgary artist. So actually,
Yeah.
get on that too, Jacob.
I know that guy too. I
Yeah.
messaged him. I'm like, you're so cool. He's a really cool designer here actually. I can't remember
Yeah.
his exact Instagram, but if you look up the Calgary Uniqlo, you'll be able to find. He did a little teddy
Yeah.
bear. It's very cute.
So brands like Uniqlo have so many collaborations with
Mhm.
artists, which is why I try to like pitch to brands like that, or like even Lululemon has a ton of um artist collabs as well. Same thing with
Mhm.
Spotify. Um, so definitely trying to find the right people to talk to still. But
Shh.
yeah,
You hear
it
that,
was a
chat?
really exciting process.
Chat, you hear that? Shoot your shot. Never be afraid to shoot your shot because the worst somebody can say is no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
to the next.
yeah, exactly. So we're approaching about 7.5 minutes.
Mhm.
I know we're kind of wrapping up because we're in the mockup tool. Do you want to kind of take us through how this tool works?
Yeah, so I actually just copy and pasted one of my characters here and placed it on top of this stock image that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So with my like live paint group uh character on top and my stock image at the bottom. You have to just make sure that what you want to be on the mockup is on top.
Mm-hmm.
I select both of them and I open the mockup tool, which you can find in Window Mockup, and you'll see the mockup window here.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll select both and then you'll just put create mockup and then it will assess the image.
About to blow my mind right now. This is crazy.
Do all that kind of stuff. And then I have my mock. Let's
So
see.
sweet.
Oh, so I can move her
Oh,
around.
nice.
I didn't group the sparkles together. I should have grouped that earlier, but
Oh, that's
you
okay.
can you
Kind
can
of
do it on this
work with
other
it.
tab
Yeah.
here.
That's
And
so
you can
crazy. Right over the collar and everything. Like makes like
yeah, and
almost
you
like a
could see
clipping mask type.
yeah, and you could see how like the flower like bends on
It's
the collar as
crazy.
well because it can identify the image. I think a better example would be on the mug. I tested
It'll wrap
yesterday.
around a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna take this one out just for the sake of
So
so it doesn't
cool.
so she doesn't get confused.
That's totally fair.
So then
I don't
I
know if you
create
ever did this back in the day, but like, did you ever like with Photoshop, like just like make your own fake brand, like as a kid, and just like mess around and try to do these mock-ups, and it took like a million billion years? Because I did.
honestly, like since I didn't really get into mockups until I like started
Yeah,
illustration, I was also like like I said, I was gonna be an architect my whole life. So
fair, fair.
I was also just interested in that. But I actually went on Sims and I would like put in the cheat codes in and like even though all my Sims were dying, be like, yeah, whatever. I would like make houses on Sims and just
That's
like not
so cool. That's cool. I'm sitting here like, oh, this is my brand, cheese
no.
pizza, something something, and then nothing happens, and just I delete it. And you're like, yeah, I actually built my dream forever home in Sims.
But honestly, I didn't learn Photoshop until like 3 years ago, maybe.
mm,
I always found it very daunting.
mm-hmm.
Um,
It is.
yeah, I found it really daunting at first, but then like with everything that they're coming out with all the new beta tools, like it's just made it so much more intuitive. Like even like the sneaks that we saw at Adobe Max, like
Yup.
my mind was blown away.
Yup. I'm really excited. Ugh. I hope Turntable comes to Illustrator. Please.
Her table would be
Please.
insane.
Adobe, I know you're listening. Please bring that too. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Man, this is
Adobe
looking so good,
Max
Fiorella. And
for a turntable.
yeah, yeah. This design is looking so good, and we are
Yeah, look at her go.
quickly approaching our last 4 minutes. How are you feeling about everything? You having a good time?
I'm having so much fun.
Cool, 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 cool.
Like I actually think I want to make this a t-shirt now.
You should. That'd be so cool. Listen, anybody in the chat, anybody watching Art Maxing today, maybe check.
You want some? Maybe I'll give it away.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Okay. I love this. I love this so much. So, how are we feeling? Are we feeling like we're kind of wrapped up? We feel like we're at a good stopping point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. Can we get a little zoom in on the designs just so we can, or I should say, like, whatever you want to show off, just so we can kind of show the audience? We've got our poster shape, and I'll let you explain.
Yeah, we have our poster shape here. Maybe I'll add the color palette in on the top just for the
That's
vibes, but
cute.
I don't know. We'll see. Then we have an orange basketball shirt, or sorry,
Ooh.
hat,
Yeah, yeah.
and then we have a Fiorella Doodles mug because that's me. I doodle. And then I have I have my t-shirt
Love.
with the basketball flower in the front and then the full print on the back. I think I
Absolutely love
really
it.
liked how this is mocked up actually. So
Me too.
I have
Absolutely. I'm
to
gonna
talk to somebody about that. Maybe like even with like a monochrome print, I could probably get it screen printed too. So we'll
could be
see.
pretty cool. We are just at about 2.5 minutes, but I think we're at a great stopping point here. I'm just gonna pop over to the screen of you and I. I'm so happy that you got to be a part of this today. I'm so
Thanks for
glad
having me.
that you got to show off your skills to the Art Maxing community and the Adobe Live community. Of course, one thing we have to do is we have to tally up all your points. because that's kind of like half the point of the show. So I have to ask you some very important questions. Did we finish the design? I think I can answer that one. Of course we did. It looks beautiful. It's
No.
amazing. Did we create a mock-up? That was kind of the whole freaking point of the episode. So yeah, we did create a mock-up. And last but certainly not least, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. I always have a great
Boom.
time with you.
That is a point. Thank you so much. And I always have a great time with you. So let's tally up the points. Let's go ahead and get a little final score coming up here with our little back of house getting it in, animation going. Your total is 5 freaking points. Good job, Fiorella. You did amazing today. This was such a blast. I'm always so happy to do stuff with you.
Likewise.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and let people know where we can find you and what you have coming up next?
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Pinterest, YouTube. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cold. But you can find me at Fiorella Doodles, FIORELLADOODLES. Um, things are coming up this year. I have a very exciting project with a women's sports league that's going to be launching very soon. So I'm excited about that. I have some upcoming work with Adobe, which is going to be fun. And also just a ton of brand pitches that I'm excited to do. I have one of a big gaming company just commented on my
Woo!
video. So I'm going to be doing a design for them soon. And just looking to work with big sports brands this year and yeah, make the most of 2025.
So sweet. You hear that, sports brands? Reach out to Fiorella Doodles at Fiorella Doodles. Well,
Yeah.
again, thank
If you want
you.
to get doodled, reach out to me.
Get doodled. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to carve out your day to hang out with the Art Maxing community. And thank you, Art Maxing community, for watching an Adobe Live community. I will see you in the next one with the next guest with the next challenge. Bye
Woo!
bye.